Hey, hey guys, welcome, welcome. It is your girls, Amanda and
Laura.
we are here. We are all energized because we finally got to hang out together, which was really, really awesome. We are going to give you guys that info for another day, but we're really excited to be bringing you some information and some of the hot points that we wanted to discuss from the interview we had with Miss Tammy Duchow, which was fire. If you guys did not listen to that yet, you need to go back to hotmesstosuccess.com/Zon Factor, ZonFactor. Go back and check that out because it was amazing. And so, like I said, we're just going to pull out a few little topics and talk about that. I really enjoyed her entire story and everything that she was sharing. And it was so incredible that with each guest, there seems to be at least like 1 to 3 points that like hit me, like resonate with me now. And that's kind of what we're noticing, Laura as well. And it's like, that's what we're noticing. And that's why we realize how important it is to share these stories with you guys. And one of the strongest points that when I was listening to Tammy talk about her story, she mentioned how she had all of this crazy story go on with her getting married, her kids, back in New York, trying to juggle all the things herself as a single mom with 2 young kids in New York, okay? No family, no nothing around. And she realized that even though she was going to have a 6-figure job, um, New York, you really have to have that. But then juggling the kids on your own as well, daycare, getting them here and there, she just had to realize that, hey, you know what? I need some help, and this is not the place for me to be able to do this right now. It's not working. And so she said it was a very tough decision, but she decided to move back in with her dad back in Wisconsin. And when she was talking about that, immediately I started thinking about Laura because she's going through some stuff. I'm going to let her share. But she was going through some stuff a couple weeks ago. She got hit with this, crazy thing out of the blue, right? Because this is what life is all about. This is not you go through it and then you hit success and then you're done. It's like life keeps coming at you. And for about 28 to 48 hours, she was freaking out mildly. Like I would say for most people, this would just make you like lose your mind. She is so good at, yes, she let it out, right? She doesn't have to hold everything in, but she also realized that, she's going to figure it out. And I want Laura to take it away and actually tell you from the beginning part and bring a little bit of your feelings through that because it wasn't that long ago when this
Yeah.
happened. So yeah, so share on that, please.
All right, guys. So this is why we call this hot mess to success, right? Genuinely, when we say hot messes are going to continually be happening throughout your life. So I'm outside with my kids the other night outside the house, and I'm just getting ready to like mow the lawn because I have all this lawn care and stuff to do as well at my house. And the landlord calls me and he's like, hey, can I just buzz by? Granted, remember, we just moved here. We live in Minnesota and we just moved to this house in January when it was like 97 below zero. I swear it was freezing cold. And so we move here in January, have amazing friends and family who helped us move here, and then love our house. Like it's just perfect. It fits us perfectly. It's like the perfect size. Everything's wonderful. And the landlord stops over here. He calls and says he needs to stop over and check on something. And well, he really needed to stop over and talk to me. He's like, well, I don't know how to really say this, but we're going to sell the house. And I was like, what? Like, oh my gosh. Like I just got moved in here. Just mass chaos. We just launched our podcast. All of this stuff is going on. I'm going out of town for a week. We were going out of town for work for a week. I was like, what do you mean? Like, and he's like, well, how soon can you get out? Or how soon do you want me to give you a notice for? And he's like, I want to work with you. I mean, he's a really nice guy. My landlord's amazing, but he's really nice. But I was still like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna have to think about this. Like, I don't even know. Like, this just hit me like a ton of bricks. And I was fine all day and I was like processing it that evening. And then I laid down in bed and I was like, I have 3 small children. a daughter in starting school, a son who's supposed to be starting preschool in 3 weeks, and I need to move. Like, where am I going? What am I going to do? So I looked at a house. Long story short, I cried my eyes out that night. I literally laid in bed and I was just like crying. I text Amanda and I'm like, I'm just crying myself to sleep tonight because I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. Like, what do you mean? Like, how am I going to move? Like, I mean, moving is no joke. First of all, like every time I say the word moving and I'm texting, I use the puke emoji because I'm just like, that's how I feel about moving. Like, I do not want to move. It's just like, and it's not just me, it's 3 kids and 9 million toys and everything else, right? So I'm literally like, oh my gosh, I'm crying my eyes out. I cried myself to sleep that night. I got up the next morning. We have podcasts to record. I've got swollen eyes and I'm like, still, I'm listening to the podcast record. I think maybe we were even recording Tammy and I'm like, okay, she starts talking. She starts talking about family and life and all of this stuff. And I'm like crying again. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so overly emotional right now just because, you know, I'm not a person who generally cries either. Like I usually hold that all in and I can keep my stuff together. And then I was like, but I'm a take action person. I'm like, here's the problem. Here's the solution. What am I going to do to fix it? So then within 24 hours, I was looking at a new house and it was just a block away from where I live now. Within 36 hours, I was posting on social media up north and all over and saying, where, like, does anyone know any place to rent? And this girl messaged me and she said, hey, our house is going to be for rent. By the end of the month, we're moving to a new house that we just built. And she's like, it's in the country and it's just outside of the small town that I grew up in. And I was like, moving back up north, like this is 2.5 hour move. It would be to like be back by my family. And I really just prayed about it. I was like, is this the move I'm trying to make? And maybe this is the reason why God is having this happen to me in my life right now. So I start telling Amanda about this. She's like, I think that's why, Laura, this is why it's happening to you, right? And so I went like literally, so this happened like on a Thursday. I uh, I post Friday, she says there's a house. Saturday morning, I'm talking to the landlord. Saturday night, I'm driving up. Sunday morning, I look at the house. I tell him, hey, I'm going to take it. I'm going to make this move. I found I went and visited the Christian school that my daughter's going to go to. I called the preschools to figure out where my son would go. I was like, and then I'm leaving Monday morning to go out of town to Orlando for a week for work. Okay. So from Wednesday night being dropped a bomb, of the house is going to be gone, I was like, let's take action. We got to move. And I don't have time to like, I mean, I knew it's amazing. It's amazing when I tell you that like God is always taking care of me. He always gives me this amazing sense of peace, but it's not because I'm sitting home and not taking action myself. Like I take action, I put the feelers out there and he brings me the people, right? And he brings me the opportunities to look at it, which is so cool. So then now we're in the process of moving, but we've got the school, we've got the preschool. And while I was out of town then for a week, I'm still working on this stuff. Like, how are we going to get a U-Haul? Where are we getting trailers? What are we doing? But it'll happen. It's going to be amazing. And I can't wait to actually get in the house, give you guys a little tour, show you that we're all settled in. And it's my first time ever like living in the country. I've lived in small towns, but I've always been in town. And this is my first time being in the country. I think I might have to get some big dog or something to protect us. And
Yeah.
I mean, literally you walk outside, there's no neighbors for miles, right? So I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to really, truly be a country girl. Like my kids are going to love it. There's a swing set. There's a couple barns in the yard. It's a cool big farmhouse. We're just going to have a fantastic time. But with that being said, it really is, the hot messes are going to happen and you can either let them cripple you and literally like just falling down like Tammy. I mean, her husband is being hauled away by white collar crime stuff that she doesn't even know what's going on. And she just says, I'm moving across country to a foreign country with my small children because that's what she knew she needed to do as a mom. Me, I'm like, okay, I don't have a home anymore. I'm going to do it, something. I'm going to take action and I'm going to move. And I'm going somewhere where I'm going to be, instead of being 2 hours from family, now I'm going to be 20 minutes from family, which is going to be really awesome as well, which is
Yeah.
really fun.
I mean, you've been going up already to hang out with your sister and have your kids be able to play with their cousins on a lake house, and you just love it up there. And you've been traveling 2 hours to do this. I mean, just to be able to have that alone is awesome. And then just having that peace. I mean, the country is amazing. I grew up in the country and we do aspire to, we're not sure where we're going to land yet, but we are very excited to get back to the country, especially because now, I mean, we work from home anyway, so it doesn't matter. Like
Right.
a commute doesn't matter. But I think that, I mean, just that timeline and that process, and from going from, you know, oh my gosh, what am I going to do, to letting it out, having that release, crying, but realizing like, no, you had faith. You do have faith that there's a reason why this is happening, even though sometimes there's some crazy, devastating things that do happen to where it might be really, really hard initially to see that. But for her to go from that to, okay, I'm going to go look at this house down the road, like it was hours to where she's like, okay, I need to find the solution, going to look at another house, posting on Facebook. Like she said, like she trusted that God had her, but that doesn't mean she's just like waiting for him to, just throw something at her. Like, no, she needed to be proactive and trust that whatever the solutions, get as many options as you can. And then knowing and going to see this, I mean, immediately, this was not in her plans. Okay. She goes to see this house. Then she decides she's going to drive 2 hours, go to that church, go to visit her kid's new school, and get this, like, not only is the rent less, which is amazing, but also for her children to be able to go to school, that's going to be less as well. Like, it's like, I just know this is going to be incredible. It's going to suck for a little while, for the next couple weeks. We've already been talking about how are we going to, make sure that we're like, do we need to record some stuff at like 2 a.m. when the babies are sleeping? Because you're not going to have a nanny.
And we're
If,
no joke. We'll
if
do
we,
it. Like, that's what you do.
if
That's not
we,
the hashtag mother hustler is no freaking joke. Like, that is what
yeah,
we do. You make things happen. Like,
yeah,
there's no excuse. Like, oh, I think we'll just have to take a break between seasons because we're not going to. No, that
no.
like we just do it. That's
Figure
the
it
fun.
out. And and like that's the thing, like you figure it. And it's not like we're not saying, hey, we're going to, do 2 a.m. recordings all the time. But when life gets shaken up, you need to adapt, you need to flow, you need to figure it out, you need to keep at it. And so yeah, so I really wanted to touch on that because I'm telling you right now, when Tammy was talking, that's exactly what I was thinking about. And I didn't even, honestly, I didn't even say that to Laura, like, because I don't know like how that is. I know she's 2 hours away. She has kids that had already been in school where she's at. So it wasn't like, hey, Laura, you should move back up there. But like, I was legit thinking, wow, like, I really think that would be great. And when she brought it up, I was like, go. Like, I was
Mm.
already thinking that during that interview. So just that validation, I just think it's going to be incredible. So kudos to you for running through that process,
Yay.
and in like you said, 72 hours having something like already in order and lockdown. And then you know what, when you're not stuck in that indecision, she wasn't sitting that, she made that decision, she was moving forward. And so when we had our business stuff and we were meeting, like, that was done. That's a big decision, right? That was done and over with. We weren't sitting there for the next, what a lot of people might do is sit there over the next week, and instead of us sitting here and working and being present at the event that we're at, that we paid our time, our money, our energy. She has a nanny that's, watching her children for the entire week. We're not wasting that time. It's okay. We're there, we're present, we're focused on what we need to do here. And that is incredibly important as well. And if you don't do that, if you don't address those things, make a decision and allow yourself to move on, you get stuck in that indecision and it affects everything else. And then you're not able to actually be present in what you should be. That could have been even just, if she wasn't going on a business trip, that could be time with her family. If you're stuck in indecision and you're not moving forward and just making that stuff happen and moving through those steps and wondering, what I should do, or kind of wallowing and stuff, then you're going to be taking that time, which is precious time, away from your family or away from whatever you're supposed to be doing and being present. So it was incredible. The only thing that we talked about was the excitement. There wasn't like
Yeah.
anything other than we touched on it, great, and then we were present, working at the event. So it was
And the
awesome.
thing to remember, I think, for people is that, like, so many of our decisions, especially as moms and mompreneurs and what we're doing in life, don't just affect us, right? So, like, my decisions that I was making this entire time also affect little people, like 3 amazing little people. And I wanted to be in a location, not only where they have the ability to be close to family and friends, because that's always a huge value, right? But also like their education, and like making this transition quick. I think quick is better than drawing this out. Quick, smooth, and then we transition right into a really structured schedule again of school, waking up, getting ready, going to school, coming home. So there's a lot of structure in that. And surprisingly enough, kids love structure, right? So I think as adults, we do too. We want to know what's going on and when it's going to happen, and always having kind of a little bit of structure in our life so that we know what the end goal or what the end point is, which is fun. So I'm just excited because I can see it all transforming. I can see it all coming together. And at first I was like, oh, what am I doing? I always said I wasn't going to move back up there. I'll be like 2 hours from freaking Target again. And
Oh, wait, what? No.
then
Is
we're
there
like,
a
no,
Costco?
Amazon delivers everywhere. I'm okay.
Amazon does, but here's the thing, and this is kind of funny. Is there a Costco?
No,
God.
over 2 hours from everything.
I
Like,
can't. So here's the thing. We were actually just talking about this recently. My aunt's a realtor and she was like, "Oh my gosh, back, in the country, there's this beautiful house. I just thought of you guys. I know you guys probably you just got a warehouse, so you're probably not going to do anything till next summer, but that's when this house will technically be available." And she's like, "Maybe you should come check it out." I'm like, "Okay, great." And I'm looking, I'm like, "Wow, this would be yeah, that's a great location." I'm like, and then I was like, "Wait." I was like, "There's legit not a Costco for
yeah.
like 45 minutes." I was like, "I like to go to Costco weekly." And I told John, I was like, "Oh, I guess if it's really that good, we could like batch our Costco run and we would just have to really know what we wanted on a monthly basis." Like I'm already like trying to think through. It's really important to me, you guys. That's legit important.
That's
Um,
awesome.
so and Kenzie too now, she like loves it. She's like the other day we were driving back, she's like, "I want to go to Costco." She just wants to go there for the snacks though, she said. Um
Be
but
honest, right?
I think so this kind of leads into something really cool. And it's kind of the topic that will kind of leave you guys with, because I think it's something that you can be proactive about. Obviously, when something gets thrown at you, that is being, reactive. You have to. Sometimes you have to be reactive to things. I mean, it was kind of both. Like she was reacting to a situation, but she was being incredibly reactive proactive, because she could have had a lot longer to do it. It was like, okay, out in 60 days. I'm like, holy cow, you have to be out that fast. And then she kind of was able to narrow it down. She's like, well, I'm going to be out before, the kids were going to school. So she was reactive to a situation that she got thrown, but then she was being proactive about it. And I think being proactive about the situations that's huge in life. And so, one of the things that Tammy was mentioning is now, like anytime there's any type of situation or just anything in general to where she might feel that being a little bit uncomfortable, she leans into it and she knows that nothing great happens inside your comfort zone. So pushing yourself outside your comfort zone will help you. That's being proactive, but that kind of conditions you to be very oh gosh, what do I want to say? Like very, I don't want to say okay with basically being able to deal with those things. Like if you do make yourself outside your comfort zone, it'll almost feel normal when that stuff gets like thrown at you, and the little things I'm saying, because a lot of times people get tripped. I mean, that was a major thing, but a lot of the little things can trip people up as well. And that's just something that if you continue to push yourself outside of your comfort zone, it's just kind of the norm, and you just deal with it and roll with it and flow with it. And so I just thought that was awesome, because she started talking about how when she was very young, at a very young age, she was putting herself outside of her comfort zone. And from that point, you get confidence, because that puts you into action. Action leads to confidence. And she's like, I know I can handle any situation. I know that if something's thrown at me, she goes, I just have that confidence that I'm going to think outside the box. I'm going to do what I need to do, and I'm going to make it happen. And she said that she really now at this point likes to live outside her comfort zone. And I think that's something that is really, really important, whether that means going to events. Not everybody, I mean, it's not comfortable. A lot of the things that you guys do for the first time, it's not comfortable. It's new. But that second time you go to do it, it's like, yeah, I got this. I'm in a groove. So you just need to be okay with being uncomfortable for that first time. And it just opens up so much for you. Laura, do you have any like little things that, I don't know, that people might be able to relate to, that are just kind of normal for you now, that, might be things that might be a little out of comfort zone?
I think,
Or
speaking of events, that used to be one of my things where it was like I would go and I would find my group that I was comfortable with, and that's who I stuck with, right? And so now even you and I, we like at our event, we started like the ladies table at the mashup, right? Like there's like this event we're at, like this dinner group event. And it's just like we became the table where kind of like we're just like, hey, come over here, like, and like introduce yourself, tell us about yourself. We kind of like grab people's name tags and we're just like, hey, who are you? Like, tell us about you, tell us about your podcast. Like, and I think one of the biggest things is like that icebreaker of just doing that, because then the next day you see these people, have people grabbing me on the hallway like, Laura, hey, how are you, or whatever. And then just it's that like I've actually learned this by watching other people that I admire do this. And so like even when I'm meeting people that aren't at events but just meeting people in general, like you have a new friend and you're going to go meet their family or whatever, and it's just like I've just learned that I could sit there and be like, hey, how are you? Instead, I get a little bit bold and it's not always comfortable, but I literally walk over and I'm like, hey, how are you? I shake their hand. I'm like getting close to somebody, like getting more interactive than just, doing the little hand wave from across the room when somebody introduces you. When somebody introduces me to somebody now, I make the initiative to actually start a small conversation with them. Like, hey, tell me about yourself. Like, oh, you're a mompreneur too. Like, what do you do for what keeps you busy during the days? Or what are you passionate about? People are like, oh, what am I passionate about? Like, that's one of the great questions I love, because I don't like, some people, their passion is like, hey, I just love taking care of my kids. I'm at home, I'm a stay-at-home mom. And that's what they're passionate about. Hey, I love making Afghans. I knit all day long, or what, I mean, like, what are you passionate about? Like, some people are like, I don't know. I don't know. I guess I work every day, like, and so like, that's kind of like one of my leading questions, even if I'm talking to somebody on social media and I'm messaging them and I'm like, hey, thanks for the friend connect. Love to get to know you better. Like, message me back. Tell me what you're passionate about. Tell me what like keeps you busy during the day. And so it's just a great conversation icebreaker, because everyone has different things going on in their life all of the time. And it's so much better than, hey, thanks for the connect. Have a great day. It's
Yeah.
actually a conversation starter, and it really starts to build those relationships, which is fun.
Yeah, and I think we are going to absolutely do an entire episode on like just kind of some advice and tips that we have like for events. So I don't want to give them all away here because I think that that is really important, and we've attended a lot of different events. So we've been able to see some of the things that have been incredibly effective to really connect with people. And when Lori even said, so like we have not seen each other outside of Zoom in like years, okay? So we go to this event, and how comfortable would it be for us to just like lean into each other and just be with each other the entire time? You know what we did? This is a very big practice of mine when I go to events as well, is especially when I know people, is I'm excited to see them because I meet people from all over the country. I'm excited to see them, but I purposely make it a point because a lot of these people I talk to regularly, I need to meet other people. And so it's like it was pretty natural for us. Like we kind of, it wasn't a divide and conquer thing. It just so happened like we're meeting with people, we're hanging out with each other. And then it wasn't like we isolated ourselves from everything else. We were putting ourselves into different situations to know that we'd be able to meet other people. And so, again, I'm excited to be able to bring an entire episode on that for you guys because it's incredibly important. Events are huge. And that's how we're going to be finding all these crazy guests. I can't even tell you the most boss women that we were able to meet. I cannot wait to get them on the show to you guys. It's incredible. And I'm like, man, like if we're not out there truly meeting people and connecting, not like, hey, how are you? Okay, what do you do? Great. Give me your business card. Okay, peace out. What they do for me? That's not the way to do it. And so we made some incredible connections with some awesome women, and I cannot wait to bring them to you guys. I mean, season 2 is going to be fire.
And then it's so funny, like this just makes me laugh and smile from ear to ear. But you're like, people are like, hot mess to success. And they just get it. They're like, oh my gosh, you should hear my life.
Right.
I have like 6 episodes on your show because I've got so many hot messes. And you're
Right.
like, yes, we love you, because you know what? And like people are like, so tell us about your show. What is it? I'm like, well, everyone's life is a shit show, right? Like stuff is always going on. So like that's what we talk about. And we bring the real tools and resources for the crap that happens in life, the hot messes, and then also the tools and resources to have the success that you've always desired. And they're like, wow, like that sounds amazing, and it's just like everyone can relate because everyone is going through this. Everyone has the hot messes in life. And that's part of our whole kind of theme for this season too, is you're not alone.
Yeah.
And I think that is so key to remember as well, which I love.
Right. And that's what happens. It's the like how we even get to that is, and this is how I was sharing with a lot of the different ladies that I was talking to when we were sharing kind of the um thoughts behind the podcast, is that when I go to these events and I attend these events, it's always the conversation after the first conversation that gets, really deep, and people open up and you really connect. And I do understand that not everybody can go to events regularly. I did not for the first 10 years of my business. I did not attend events like this. So don't don't act like I'm like you have to go every single month and attend all these events, because I know it's cost time, energy, money. I totally get that. So, because of that, that's one of the main reasons why we want to bring these to you, because every single time I have a conversation with somebody and you hear about, again, the initial, hey, this is what I do, this is my past, this is my how successful I am type thing, you kind of find out what people are doing. And then that backstory makes them so relatable to where it's like, wow, they went through that and they're still having this amazing success. Wow, they're just like me. And then instead of you and compare itis, whatever you want to call it, is really, it really sucks. And I know we all do it. I mean, even Laura and I do it sometimes. Like we're aspiring people that are podcasts. We're like, oh my God, like we're gonna do this, and we get all excited. But people are on a pedestal. When you meet them and you talk with them and they tell you the backstory, you're like, wow, they are just like me. And it gives you that ability to see yourself in that success and that light. And it's so inspiring. And without that, like, without us being able to bring that to you, unless you're going to these events, you're not going to be able to access that. So we kind of want to shortcut that to you. We think that it's amazing that we have this time of technology that we can do that, and that's why we're doing that. So I know that's going to be incredibly effective in people's journey when they can relate and connect with people like that, and then just bringing in and highlighting and edifying other incredible women as well. That's what I love that we get to do too, because there's a lot of women out there that deserve the spotlight, and that's what we want to do, is bring them to you guys. So
It's so awesome. And then you see them get on the dance floor and you're like, oh my gosh, they're human. They're just like
right.
me. Like, let's bust a move, girlfriend. Like,
Right. Oh, it was
I love
awesome.
it.
So,
So
all
fun.
right, guys. Well, we're going to wrap this one up. And I cannot tell you, it's funny, when we first started, we're like, okay, like we do have a lot of ideas, but we're doing, 2 episodes a week. Like, are we really going to be able to, talk about all this different stuff? And now our list is so long with just killer content that we're just so excited to continue to knock this out for you guys. So, you guys have wait, what is the episode of this one we're doing? What are we calling it when they got to go to the show notes and stuff? I was just
Oh,
thinking I didn't want to wrap it up before that.
episode 8. So
Oh,
it'll
yeah.
be, yep. It'll
So
be
hot
just
mess.
hotmesstosuccess.com/episode 8. And that will bring you directly to this episode, the show notes, and then we'll recap the show notes from Tammy,
Are you
episode
putting
7.
in like episode 008, or what is it? Because if they're typing it
Just
in,
episode 8. Just no
episode.
00. Just,
Okay.
just 8.
Episode 8. Sweet. Awesome. So you guys know that the show notes are going to be there. And yeah, so you guys have an awesome day.
And one more quick recap on Tammy, you guys. If you're looking for something like, how do I make money online? How do I do like, how could I do this? Is there anything I can do? Go back and listen to episode 7 and really listen to her, because there are a few takeaways that we got after the show. Cause I was like, hey, Tammy, so give me your ideas about our podcast. Like, what about our podcast in Amazon and stuff? And she's like, you could do this, you could do this, you could do this. And I was like, oh my gosh, we got to do an entire show on this, because it was so good. But
Mhm.
like, literally, if you're like, I've always wanted to make money from home, how could I get started?
Yeah,
Episode 7 was really good for that. So make sure you go back and listen to hotmesstosuccess.com/Zon Factor, right? And
absolutely. Yep.
yep, super
And
good
because I
stuff on
think
there.
it was funny, because when we were talking about this, every time we want to do like a recap, like I said, there's a lot of things that we want to bring to you guys. And she was talking about Amazon affiliate, which is free to do, free to join. And she actually has a course in those show notes that you guys are going to be able to access, so that you can get a step-by-step guide. And now is the best time to do it. So go listen to her episode, check out those notes, dig in, and that is your amazing way to start making money online with zero investment, just from your home. You can do it from your phone. It's awesome.
Yes, good stuff. Because I get asked that all the time. So I want to reiterate that to people too, because it's a great place to start. We're going to be bringing lots of ideas throughout our shows, but she was a fantastic guest with some fantastic ideas. So
Agree. Awesome, guys. Well, you guys take care and we'll see you next time.
have a great day, everyone. Bye.